from Cohort 6. She's going to speak at some point her experiences with Growth Accelerator. And thank you so much, those that have come for the first time to hear what GA is all about. And we also welcome those that are in Mzuzu and those that are in Blantyre. Please sit quietly, watch that video, and then we'll get into the program. If you've got any questions, please don't forget to scan for the frequently asked questions, and of course, to have a program right on your mobile phones. From there will be a session where you can ask one-on-one questions to our business acceleration officers. So in a moment, let's watch that video. I'll be back. We are launching Cohort 9 of the Growth Accelerator with a theme accelerating cross-sector innovations through technology and digital solutions. If we're talking 9th, it means 8 have already gone. And that 8 has at least accelerated 88 businesses in this country. You can check the kind of impact that has had on the Malawi economy. And all that is thanks to the Royal Norwegian Embassy and of course the German government through KfW. We're going to hear a little more about these ventures and how you can become the next of the ventures to be accelerated through the Growth Accelerator. We will begin our program this particular morning with a presentation from the project manager of the Growth Accelerator, Mr. Tamblan Chunga. Tamblan. Oh, somebody was asking, who is this one speaking? My name is Wisdom Chinkwede. I will be your driver this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wisdom. And let me first of all recognize the presence of the German Ambassador, Her Excellency, Madam Uti, Fenella Frost, the resident rep, Daniela Bessi, our director for KfW, and the UNDP senior staff plus KfW team, which is here. More especially you, our prospective applicants. We really want to thank you for honoring this invitation. We also like to thank those who are online, because there are those who have joined online from Blantyre and Mzuzu. So it's a live streaming event. I will just take you through the Growth Accelerator program and in terms of the presentation. Sure. Thank you, and start. Can you go next page? Okay, so basically we'll give you a little bit of the background to the Growth Accelerator program. What are the main objectives? Then the whole structure in terms of the processes we go through. Of course, I'll take you through the tier component of the Growth Accelerator, which is a very important component as well. Then who can apply in terms of eligibility, then how to apply. We'll also look at what we are seeking through the GA in terms of the impacts. And lastly, we'll also present to you our partners whom we thank them very much for being part of this program. We can go ahead, next slide. So in terms of the Growth Accelerator program, it's a 12-month business acceleration program for youth, high impact, post-revenue startups with potential to grow and scale. So we are basically looking at those entrepreneurs who are young enough, energetic to run, willing to invest, but with high potential, and they have already tested the idea on the market. We are also offering matching grant and technical assistance. So in terms of that matching grant and technical assistance goes to the business owners. Okay. Can I have some water? Somebody water. The matching grant is up to $40,000, but you need to match it up with at least 30% of your own cash contribution for those who want to apply. But we also offer technical assistance and mentorship on the whole program. Growth Accelerator has been there since 2018 as an instrument which has really worked with startups to try to accelerate their growth, and with our main aim of course, accelerating that we have got entrepreneurs who can grow and deliver impact on the market in terms of improving livelihoods. If you are going to work with the people in the community as suppliers of raw materials, or you are going to introduce a product or service which will be benefiting the people at a lower cost, those are some of the benefits we look at. But we also look at the job creation and, of course, the overall contribution to the Malawi economy. Go on. So, GA definitely aims at fostering entrepreneurship and economic growth in Malawi by providing that mentorship and technical assistance and financing support to early-stage entrepreneurs. We seek to achieve positive impacts by looking at the jobs, looking at new products launches, and increasing revenue for entrepreneurs. We also look at fostering partnerships. So as we move on, those who join the program, they will see that we will be more focused as well on looking at the partnership. How can you partner probably with financial institutions when you are growing? How can you partner with others as well to help you grow with your venture? In terms of the overall structure of the Growth Accelerator, we start, of course, with the launch of the concept note, which we are launching today, and marketing the instrument across the country. I think for most of you have been reached out on different social media platforms. We also be having some adverts. Then once you have submitted your concept note, they'll be shortlisted to go into the next stage, which will involve you developing the pitch and as well as the business growth plans. And once you have developed your pitch and business growth plans, we'll also be doing the due diligence to ascertain the capacity issues, to look at all the requirements. So we'll be visiting the site of those who be shortlisted. The pitching, you do it to the venture assessment committee. So basically, as project managers, we don't select the projects. The projects are selected by independent team of evaluators. We call them venture assessment committee. So you'll be pitching to the venture assessment committee. You also be submitting that business growth plan, which will make them determine for you to join the program. So once you have been pre-selected, you go into the third phase, which will involve us developing the tools under which we'll be monitoring the project in terms of the whole contracting process. So we'll be looking at probably now focusing more on your model, the business model, to establish what will be the key milestones and also determine what will be the guidance in terms of how we disperse the funds on the program. So, and we'll also develop a log frame. That log frame really helps us to also report on your success as well as reporting on in terms of our impacts which we want to achieve for the return on the investments, what is going to be happening. You will be also required to open up a special account under which the funds will be disbursed and managed throughout the project. Lastly, the last part is the fourth phase is looking at the implementation. So during the implementation, those which companies which are going to be contracted will be oriented on how to process the milestones. We will also provide technical assistance. It's a normally 6 months mandatory technical assistance, but we will also be talking about the technical assistance. We call it Kula sessions, but we will also be talking about how you are going to deliver on your whole project. So in terms of special attention to some of the details, we call them catalytic visit, but after the Kula sessions, we'll follow up with special attention to some of the elements. We identify what we call growth sprints in terms of where do you want to focus your growth to help you further refining your growth. But we will also do the mentorship program. So we'll pair those who are going to be successful, pair them with successful entrepreneurs. Actually, the owner of this next gen we are sitting today, Eugene, is one of our mentors. So he mentors some of entrepreneurs. He's a young Malayan entrepreneur who has grown the business. I think it's one pride we can have to have our own young entrepreneurs, local entrepreneurs who can help us as well to set up something like this today, because that gives us a good flavor of how you can move on your venture. Then we'll of course be processing the milestones, we'll be doing the monitoring visit until you complete the project. The project, as I said, is a 12-month program where we have got intense of mentorship, the Kula sessions, mentorship, but you'll be given another 12 months to complete implementation. That's completing the investment. So it will be basically 2 years of a chance to at least prove your venture growth. We can go to the next stage. I talked about the technical assistance. Just wanted to also look at how the technical assistance is structured. So we have got the mandatory business development service support which we offer. We refer them to as Kula sessions. Kula means growth in our local language. So we try to look at the elements from maybe leadership to seeking finance, probably how you can develop markets. So you'll be trained, and we'll also be looking at those areas where we can help you more. But we also organize some ecosystem events where we now bring some seasoned people in the market who can talk about different topics which can help you further enhance your business growth. I talked more about the mentorship program, which will support as well. We do catalytic visits, then project mentoring, monitoring, and execution of milestones. So this is basically the overall structure which we offer, because sometimes we focus more maybe on the money part, but you find that when you go into the business, and you realize that it's not just the money. There are so many elements which you need to accelerate your business growth. So in terms of who can apply to join the program, you should first of all have a verified product or service on the market, which has been there for not less than 1 year. You should be able to demonstrate some capacity, demonstrate some sound financial practices such as basic bookkeeping. Also demonstrate some revenues in the past months. At least you have done, show some records of what you have been selling in the past 1 year or so. The grant request should be between 10,000 to 40,000. So the minimum is 10,000 to a maximum of 40,000. Why maybe the minimum? Because it also takes a lot to manage a project of this nature. So if we go too low, like 10,000, it won't be very beneficial even to the entrepreneurs, but it also gives us a better chance. So the range is quite big for the young entrepreneurs, so you can apply up to 40,000, but be ready to match it up with at least 30% of that approved grant amount in cash as your contribution. So you should have the skin in the game. At least the founders or one of the founders should have been involved in the business, should be involved in the business as full-time. So because the Growth Accelerator is basically focused on the business owners, so we need one of the founders or two of those people should be involved in the full-time. You should be youthful, and when we are looking at youthful, you should not be more than 45 years of age. You should have not gone through the previous rounds of Growth Accelerator. When we are talking of going through the previous rounds, we are talking about not applying, but those who applied and they didn't go through, they are free to apply again. But those who benefited from the previous rounds cannot apply again to access the Growth Accelerator. The part of how to apply, I think you see the boxes on the tables. We have got that Growth Accelerator website. So please go on that website. Today it will be open. You click, then you'll be able to apply straight online. So there's no need for any paperwork. You just be doing it online. But for further information, you can reach out on info@growmalawi.org, or the phone number is on WhatsApp. So you can reach out on the WhatsApp, will help you. We are closing applications on midnight of Friday, 8th November 2024. So we have got at least a month plus a few days to do the concept note, submission of the concept note, because the page you go to on that website is the concept note. Thank you. I earlier on said we are basically looking at impact as the main return maybe for our donors. We are very thankful for their support, but the main thank you will be the impact which you are going to deliver in the community you are going to work, or the economy of Malawi. So in your submission, please try to bring out or highlight what will be the main impact on the socio-economic side. So in terms of job creation, increase in income for the poor, those who are going to be involved in the venture, like maybe suppliers of raw materials. But you can also talk about the benefit, probably how much those who are going to access your product or service, they will be saving if the product is going to look at cost saving. So those are part of the socio-economic impact side of things we are looking at. On the environmental side, we are basically, those who are going to do projects which are looking at addressing some challenges in the environment, we are looking at the ability to address pressure point in the environment. So we are talking about probably there could be a pressure point of deforestation, there could be a pressure point of waste, maybe waste is not properly managed. So if you have got a business venture which is helping to address those environmental challenges, you can look at it, you can highlight those elements. Of course, eventually it is going to do a reduction in waste and CO2 emissions, the overall environment. So we can, once you bring your numbers, we can work out in terms of the reduction and in waste and CO2 emissions. So this is the overall picture of the impact which the Growth Accelerator is seeking. And in your submissions, please try to look at those elements critically and also bring them out, because they will also help you, apart from developing a coherent business model. These are very important elements as well, which we are seeking to address in the overall project. So what's the next steps? And go. So today we have opened the submission of concept notes, which is closing on 8th November as highlighted. We'll do the regional pitch and business growth plans from 2nd December. So we expect by first week, by end November, you should have the communications about who are proceeding to the next stage. So we have selected that we will have those, the pitch and business growth plans labs, the workshops to help you to develop your pitch, to train you and all those. Then we anticipate to start the due diligence process by 9th December. So there will be a schedule which will be shared with those who are going to be successful. We will also conduct pitch labs. So these are going to be specifically training. Once you have developed your pitch, you will submit to us as I would say a pre-run or a pre-test or a coaching session. So there will be us like a mock test on the pitch. We have got colleagues here who are seasoned in pitching, so they can help you to work on your pitch. But the closing date of submission of the pitch and the business growth plans will be 17th January 2025 next year. So then we will go into the final stage where we are expecting to have the pitch and the VAC meeting on 19th February. It's an important date. In the past, we have seen that sometimes the ventures do send representatives. The pitch cannot be done by representative. The pitch can only be done by the business owners. But this we will emphasize when we are doing the training. Thank you. The other part which I wanted to highlight, and we are very thankful, is in terms of our partners on the project. So there are financial and implementing partners. We have got the NBS Bank. I don't know if we have got a colleague from NBS. Not yet, but the NBS, National Bank, Standard Bank, Eco Bank, and I think there's a colleague from Mike is going to do a presentation on behalf of the funding donors. Peter is here. So these partners are there to help you for the co-financing part. So if you want to get financing support for the co-financing to raise the 30%, at least the 30% contribution, these partners are able to assist, and they have assisted many ventures in the past, and we have got a working relationship with them. And we have got the implementing partners, of course, UNDP.
Tamblan, did you suggest, or did I hear you suggesting that it is not free money? We'll give him back the microphone. I thought that was the kind of a summary that I got from your presentation. Did you suggest it is not free money?
Definitely, yes. So I think over the years, the main thing is people, you go for the grant part, to say it's only the grant. Yes, the grant is there to help catalyze the investments, but you definitely need to look at the overall business model. So when I was talking about the logic model, when we go into the business model and we start looking at the investments, you realize that this is not free money. You have to work for it, and you have to contribute something, because what we are trying to do here is we are looking for serious investors. I think that's what Wisdom is aiming at. So we need serious investors, people who can take projects forward. So if you are just coming to the growth accelerator that, okay, I want free money, it won't be free money because you have to work. An investor knows. Those people who have been in business, they know. You have to work for the business. Thank you.
This is ninth cohort.
Yes.
It means we've gone 1, 2, until 8.
Yes.
And some have gone through, many have failed. What is it that fails those that have failed?
I think the main issue is the same, that many look at probably the grant component only. They don't look at the business model. So we are looking at people who have got a venture to accelerate this growth. So if you are coming, you should be able to articulate the elements. When you look at the way we said growth business plans, it is looking at what are the main growth areas where you need support. So you find that sometimes we are very blank in terms of our presentation. We don't want to articulate what we are looking for. So the investment is key. But of course, you need to highlight as well what is the investment going to impact. So the impact is also another very important element which we deal with. But the impact should be born out of the venture growth.
Great.
That growth, when you attain it, what is it that we want to aim to achieving at the end? I think Irache will highlight more because
Beautiful.
about
Thank you so much. A round of applause for Tamblani Chunga, the project manager. You've heard it. We're looking for high impact startups. And these must be ideas that have been tested on the ground. It's not free money. I thought I need to emphasize on this particular point. At least, if I were you, I would take this as an open book examination. Very difficult, but the easiest to pass. Thank you so much, every one of you, for coming, and thank you so much, Tamblani. You've got all the information, much of what you would want to hear about the Growth Accelerator on the website. And of course, you've heard that it opens today. Rachel Kumenda is a beneficiary of GA Cohort 6. She will now take us through how and where is she at the moment from the time she was given this particular opportunity to participate in the Growth Accelerator. Please bring us the presentation for Rachel. She is the founder of DroneLink. When she was coming at the beginning, we are all laughing. Drones? Come on, drones. Rachel, over to you.
Thank you very much. All protocols observed. My name is Rachel. I have been introduced. I am the founder of DroneLink. So DroneLink was set up in 2021. The name is to solve a variety of using drones and digital technologies. So when we were starting, we started with one service whereby we were, okay. I don't know if I'll be able to see my presentation. Yeah. This side. Okay, so we started with one service whereby we were, I saw a need in the mining sector for geospatial analysis and also data collection in the mining sector. So I started by collecting land data and providing the data to the mining industry. And then I later on had other sectors that I went into. So basically what we do, we leverage AI and machine learning to provide this affordable land data to different sectors now. So we are in the agriculture sector, disaster management, environmental sector, in mining, and many others. So we help in disaster preparedness and also response. So when I was starting, one of the biggest challenges that we had was finances. And that's why I applied for Growth Accelerator. And since I applied for the Growth Accelerator grant, I not only received the financing, but also business coaching. So I have benefited a lot from Growth Accelerator. To start with, we're able to buy equipment. We're able to buy equipment that helped us to service our market. So the challenges we had was, at first I only had one drone, and for me to map, say, 200 hectares, it would take me 3 days or 4 days. And there was one time when I went to Balaga to survey land in Balaga, and there was no electricity. So that was a challenge for us, because after the batteries died, we had to go to a trading center to charge the batteries. So all of this affected my business capacity. So when I got the investment, I was able to buy modern drones and also backup systems, and also good processing computers, and also marketing. I was also able to buy things that helped in my marketing. So I, first of all, got more clients, and I was able to service the market from doing 200 hectares in 3 days to doing 200 hectares in one single day because of the equipment that I have. I was also able to now employ young people. So from being the only one in my business, now I was able to employ up to 6 people, 4 of which are women, and they are all young people. So it did not only just impact me, but I was also able to provide employment opportunities to young people. And our revenue stream, as I have mentioned, grew from more than 100% of growth since we got into the cohort. And currently, we are also providing surveys to local communities in Lilongwe. We are helping this local community to provide affordable land data to over 14 group village heads in Lilongwe. And we are helping to monitor their project. They're trying to they've set up a system whereby they want to control soil erosion. So we are helping them to monitor the progress of their project. And this is one of our current projects that we're doing. You can go back. So on the business coaching, you can go back a bit. Go back. On the business coaching, I just wanted to highlight the benefits that I got from the business coaching. So when I was going through the coaching, I was the only one, and through the coaching, they helped me to open my eyes to how I can select a team that will run with the vision that I had. And they helped me they prepared me for the team that I was going to have. So when I got my team, I was able to handle the team because of the business coaching that I got. I also learned marketing strategies, and I also got this one thing that they called it feedback service. So this was new to me. Initially, I would just get a customer and then forget about them. But then when I got to learn about feedback, I go back to the customers and get their feedback. And also, that helped me to improve my service. And also, now I'm seeing that I'm retaining more customers through the feedback service, because now I'm giving them what exactly they need. And also, I discovered accounting skills. So as an entrepreneur, I thought I would just hire accountants to manage my finances, but I also got to learn that I needed the skills, accounting skills, to know the numbers of my business. So There were so many things that I learned through the business coaching, but these are some of the things that I can highlight. So this is one of the pictures that we took when we were contributing to Cyclone Freddy. So we helped to collect land data to show impact of damage to the Cyclone Freddy. So these are one of the images that we were using drones. Yeah, so this is part of my team in the field. It's part of my team also in the field. As you can see, there are trees planted, so we are also trying to monitor the progress of, we were able to count how many trees were planted and how many trees survived in this project. Okay, so we also have, since the Growth Accelerator, we also had one service that we developed. So this service, we are able to train now young kids in coding, robotics, and drones. So we are introducing these basic skills in coding and robotics to young kids. And since January, we have trained over 80 kids in drones, coding, and robotics. So this is one of the images showing one of our training sessions. Yeah. And finally, I just wanted to thank you to the Growth Accelerator team, the UNDP, KFW, for the support that we received. I haven't been the same since I received the grant. Thank you so much. Well, I can't say it was very easy. Well, they did push me a lot. I think when I was studying, I was in a home office, for example, and they did push me out of the home office, out of my comfort zone, and yeah, it was.
What was the most challenging part through this experience? What was the most challenging part?
Well, the most challenging part was the co-financing, because now I had to pitch my business for people to invest in the business. So yeah, that was the most challenging part, but it was also a learning point for me. I got to learn a lot, and I also got an affirmation that people actually are backing up the business.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for employer Rachel. She used to be alone. She now employs 6. Yeah? The unemployment issue in this country is not just about government. It is also about you as an entrepreneur, and you could become the next entrepreneur. And by the way, she talked about being coached. And do you know who was coaching Rachel? It is actually Eugene, the owner of the premises where we are. Where are you, Eugene? A young person again. Just a moment. Please come forward. Come forward. They might think that it was some professor coaching Rachel. It is this young man. A round of applause. So you can do a bit of peer coaching at the level of this. Did you hear that? Those that are prospecting to get a grant from the GA. Did you hear that? Thank you so much. I want you to keep connecting these dots. It's not free money, but there is also a lot of pushing. They want to hear from you a little bit. What's in the coaching?
Yeah, no, it was very interesting to take her through the mentoring. I think we were together for 6 months. Before NextGen, previously I was running a drone startup, I think from 2016 to 2020 actually. And now I do more of consulting on that side. But with Rachel, we were going through how she can segment her market, how she can find a better focus with the stuff she was talking about, the mining and the agriculture, how to pitch to clients, because drones is a very niche service. And it's not the same way another business would be marketed or sold to consumers. So we were going through that journey, how to hire early with a small team and find that they're covering all the areas that are required in the business. So yeah, we were just going through all those various aspects of the business.
Thank you so much, Eugene. It is possible. It can be done by the youth. A round of applause for Eugene. I am very sure that you're ready to help more of these guys that will be next in this process. Rachel did mention that one of the most challenging, situations was getting co-financing. And Tamlan did mention that there are a number of partners that we're working with in the banking sector or in the financing sector. And Peter Chipeta works with Mike. He will give us a glimpse of what it takes for you to get co-financing through Mike. Peter.
Any chance I can stand here? Because I want to be referring to my presentation.
Okay, but my cameras are not...
All right, no problem. I will come over here. Let me just get my tally. All right, good morning. My name is Peter Chipeta. I work with the Malawi Agricultural and Industrial Investment Corporation as the head of enterprise development. I've come to present about Mike and how we align Mike with the objectives of a growth accelerator program. As Mr. Chunga had already explained, that we are one of the partners, a key partner for that matter. Yeah, my slides. Yeah, as he's preparing. So Mike is an acronym for Malawi Agricultural and Industrial Investment Corporation. We are a development finance institution. We started our operations in 2019. Of course, we were registered in 2018. We started the operations in 2019. Our establishment was initiated by the government of Malawi as a development finance institution with the goal that the institution must be private sector led. For you, I mean, as a matter of fact, in terms of our governance structure, like I said, it was initiated by the government in terms of establishment, but the government is only limited to 20% of the control of the institution. So it is private sector led. 80% of the decisions that are made, they are according to the needs of the private sector. So the influence is actually from the private sector. Yeah. Yeah, so the establishment really was meant to fill that long-term financing gap that has largely been there in Malawi. A study was done around 2014, 2015, or thereabout in terms of the need of long-term financing gap for SMEs who are mostly youth and also women was in excess of $4 billion US, which is about how much? About 8 trillion or thereabout, not so. So there is that need on the market for long-term financing. That's why Mike was actually established. So our mission really, our vision really is to be the leading enabler of high-impact economic growth in Malawi. Next slide, please. Yeah, so our mandate largely is to source, like I said, we are a development finance institution. Unlike a commercial bank that gets deposits, do the financial intermediation and lends to its customers, as a DFI, we are not taking deposits. We don't take deposits. The money that we have that we advance to customers is from sourcing, first of all, from their seed capital, what was invested, and we also partner with other institutions in terms of sourcing financing, which is affordable, and we direct it to sectors. So really, what we want is to develop and grow industries. So what we do is we source financing and direct that financing to industries for development and also for expansion of those industries. So largely what we want is, one, like I said, we want to develop an industry. It means looking at the startups, not so. You want to come up with a business and you have got an innovative idea where you want to start a business. I know you mentioned of having a proven business. But with a DFI, what we want is to develop that idea that we have as a startup, and you mature into a business, and then we are growing that industry. But also largely, we are also there to expand industries. There's several industries that have got the potential to boost our economy. So what we want is to also develop those industries. And as a matter of fact, our financing largely looks at the impact as well, just like the Growth Accelerator program. What, besides your project demonstrating viability, we also look at the impact in terms to the economy. That is why when we mobilize finances, we direct them to productive sectors, like I said, in terms of the growth of those industries. And also, the same slide, please. Yeah. Also, we are more like I said, creation of industries. I think he mentioned about, I'll still be referring to what Mr. Chung was presenting in terms of what is it that, there was a question to say, what is it that some youth, maybe they were considered a package under this program, but they didn't succeed. There are a number of reasons. Maybe because we're only thinking about the money side of things and not the business side of things. So as Mike, what we look for is that idea that can assist you to establish an authentic business. An authentic business is a business that you are focusing on the long term, not so. If your focus is only on the money, it means you are short-sighted. But the focus, for you to align well with the Growth Accelerator program, you must have a long sight, not so. So, for you to have a long focus, you should have looked at the business in terms of sustaining the business. Sustaining the business, there are three key things. One is sustaining the supply side, sustaining your operations, and sustaining the what? The demand side. So if you're starting a business, you should be able to know that you need suppliers, not so. Even in the service industry, you need the capacity, the people that are going to drive the business. And how you're going to operate the business. And even if you do that, you need people that are going to come to you and say, I want to buy a service or a good from you, not so. If you are into agriculture, you need to know where you're going to get the inputs. You need to know where you're going to farm. Even if you do that, you also have to know where the market is, not so. So every business has to go, those are the basic principles of any business. Demand and supply, and in the middle, operations. That is an authentic business. That's where you're looking at the long term. As Mike, we want to finance a business with that understanding that's going to be sustainable. So that is our goal. We'll be able to pump money into that, affordable financial resources into that kind of a business. And also, as Mike, another mandate is we collaborate with institutions like Growth Accelerator that align with the goal of making an impact to our economy. So an impact, usually, the industries that have got an impact, they are called sectors that have got an impact, they are called productive sectors. So the impact has already been explained by Mr. Chunga to say, we're looking at the impact in terms of job creation, largely increasing the tax base of the government so that they can build more roads, all right? And also improving the economic status of our communities. You set up a business in the rural communities where maybe you'll be taking some skills from the rural communities. It means you're boosting their what? If you set up a business focusing the export market, it means you're also boosting the what? The economy in terms of the forex scarcity, challenge that we have at the moment. So we focus on those businesses. And also, we support commercially viable ideas. I will explain more in detail about this. But I want to let this point with the fact that there was an issue where we're saying, someone has been granted okay, maybe there's a need for someone for a matching grant, for instance. You are given 40,000 and you are requested to contribute about what? Is it 30%? Somewhere there. What we do is, you have qualified for that, but you need the 30% as a matching grant, not so. As Mike will not just come and give you 30%. We will need to understand the project that you are doing. If it is viable, it means we'll say, fine, we're going to assist you with the 30% so that you can unlock the what? The $40,000 that is being what? For as long as you have demonstrated that what the business you're venturing into is viable. And mind you, we're looking at the viable ideas and the viable businesses that are already existing. All right? Next slide, please. Yeah, so in terms of the sectors, our name is, the company is called Malawi Agricultural. So people confuse okay, usually it brings out the perception that we are only focusing in agriculture. No, we are focusing in agriculture. That's why the name is Malawi Agricultural and Industrial what? Investment Corporation. So we are focusing on productive what? Industries that can have got an impact in developing the economy of Malawi. But the reason why we stress on agriculture, it is because the value of agriculture, the influence of agriculture on our economy can never be overemphasized. Not so. I will tell you this, agriculture contributes more than 30% of our GDP, yes or no? It's true. Agriculture contributes more than 80% of the labor force in the rural communities where most of our folks are, not so. 80% is a significant amount. So the importance of agriculture can never be overemphasized. It's very important in terms of growth of our economy. So agriculture is number one, not so. There was an ATM strategy that was being launched, I think, some 2 months ago, not so. ATM stands for agriculture, tourism, and what? And mining. The first sector there is what? Agriculture. That is why Mike has recognized agriculture in a special way, and then other what? Other industries. Now, there's agriculture there. You can see that agriculture has got a bigger share. And then we also focus on manufacturing industries. We focus on health and tourism. We've done a lot of projects in these other sectors as well. We've done mining, energy. The impact we're talking about is all mentioned. The impact in terms of socio-economic impact and also environmental what? Impact. Energy, we've been financing environmentally what? Sustainable energy practices. We've been supporting those kind of projects as well. And also infrastructure. We've been supporting the construction of hostels to improve education standards, especially in the tertiary level. We've done all that. So what I wanted to make it clear is we finance all the sectors for as long as you demonstrate that the business that you're going to do is viable, and also it will have an impact economically, socially, and environmentally. Next slide, please. Yeah, so in terms of the instruments that we use, there are a number of instruments, but I'll just highlight the key ones. So we finance in form of debt financing. These are term loans. Usually we're focusing long-term loans, but we've also been financing working capital in terms of short-term basis. It's just the need that you have and the structuring of the facility. That's what we need to actually align. We've also been structuring in form of equity financing. There are cases where you are starting to establish it. I'll give you a good scenario. We've got a project worth 2 billion. This is what is happening. The owner, okay, usually in Malawi you find that most of us will register BNs as sole proprietors. Not so. Because we feel if we register as a company, maybe it's going to be costly for us to manage. Now, I'll tell you this. This project, one is investing 2 billion in the project. He's a sole proprietor. And then he wants us to invest, to give him the 2 billion in the project for it to materialize. Now, he doesn't have enough collateral. I'll mention that. However, we've noted that the project is a very good project and a very valuable project in agriculture. But the problem is the governance part of things. So what we did is we structured a facility using that instrument, equity financing, where we're coming in as as co-partners rather. We've invested in form of equity. What I'm going to do there is we're going to run together in the project for the next 5 years, and then we'll exit after what? 5 years. So we'll assist to set up this business, let it run, let it mature, and then we're going to what? Exit the business. So what we're financing there is largely the idea that this person has sought what? To Mike. We've done that and has been successful. That's one of the instruments. We will also do partial credit guarantees. Some of you would want to get financing from the commercial banks. You've got good ideas. Maybe banks think your project is very risky, but maybe your security is not enough. You can come and get partial credit guarantees to unlock that financing from commercial banks. Like I said, we do collaborate with other institutions like commercial banks, for instance, like Growth Accelerator, for instance, to unlock a certain financing for you to be able to achieve that viable project that you have. Next slide, please. Yeah, so these are just some of the projects that we've been able to successfully partner with some institutions that have got also the same objective, which is to develop or to grow or develop certain industries. We've partnered with AGRA on a project where we capacitated agro dealers so that we can have certified and quality inputs available to the primary farmers in the rural areas. We are fund managers for the Mega Farm project. You know Mega Farm, the government initiative to drive productivity in agri-sector and also commercialization. We are the fund managers for that. We've looked about 20 billion Malawi kwacha, which have assisted primary farmers to be able to establish farms and also drive the commercialization. Most of them are also youth and women. And as a matter of fact, we've been able to finance primary farmers without collateral, without having that hard collateral. They have been able to access financing, and now they have harvested. Our collateral is actually the harvest that we are going to, the harvest that we have given them the market. Once they sell, we'll be able to get back our money through that. And the other projects, maybe I will not do much into that. Of course, the Fitness program, where we were able to advance facilities at 10%. Most of them have been the youth that have been able to start businesses through the 10% financing. If you go to commercial bank, they'll charge you around what? 33% or thereabout. With 33% to start a business, it's very difficult because it is very expensive. But 10% Fitness, we've been able to set up businesses for the youth and women as well. These are special groups that have been crying for a long time to say we need support in that sense. Next slide, please. Yeah, so just quickly to highlight what we've done in agri-sector. Our approach is we look at the whole value system. Agriculture is complex. Some of you are into you would want to go into agro dealing. Some of you the primary agriculture itself. Some of you in terms of the aggregation, maybe the value addition. We capacitate the whole value chain of agriculture so that by the end of the day we drive that commercialization. So here the message is, if you want to go into agro-processing, for instance, we can support you. The primary farming, we can support you. Whether you want to be off-taking from the primary farmers, we can also support you so that we drive the whole value system of agriculture in promoting commercialization. Next slide, please. So that's just pictures of the projects that are successfully financed. Some of them are startups. Some of them are just expansion. We've financed a banana farm in Longwe, for instance. We've successfully financed a rice aggregation center, a plant that is in Kalonga, Chilumba, somewhere there. A cooperative for cassava processing. They do process cassava into flour and a number of products. I'm showing you this so that maybe you can have ideas. Not the usual where you're saying, I'm going to go to Tunduma, order, and come to Malawi and sell. All right? You'll be depleting forex. What we're saying is, here in Malawi, you can think of better ideas and establish good businesses that will leave a legacy. You will leave your legacy. Those that can support our communities. Next slide, please. Yeah, you can see the fish farming. We've successfully supported the project in fish farming. Textile. Some of you don't want to go into textile. Maybe you want to do fashion designing. You have got a skill in that. We can support you. Tourism as well. You can see that part. There's a hotel project that we successfully financed. Next slide, please. Yeah, so our value proposition is, at Mike, we offer long-term financial solutions. Let's have a long-term focus. Let's not be short-sighted by only looking at the grant. Let us be innovative enough, come up with good ideas to set up good businesses that are going to leave our legacy. And also moratoriums. There's one, this is very important. I didn't mention it, but I'll still mention it. Every business is unique in its own right. Some businesses will start realizing reliable cash flows maybe after 6 months. Some will take a year. As Mike, we are able to structure a facility in a way that we take into account when your reliable cash flows are going to be coming to the business. If let's say you want to construct a lodge, and that lodge will take you a year to construct, market it, and start realizing cash flows from it, we can give you a moratorium for a year. A moratorium means it's more like a grace period, yeah? We give you the money before you start to repay. We give you a period for you to be able to set up that business. And then once you start getting customers, remember you set up, you build, you have to find staff, you have to market the business. And then the customers come to you. You start providing a service. Now you start earning income. That's the point that we say, now you can what? You can start to repay. So we can be able to structure a facility in that sense. It may be 3 months, it may be 4 months. We can go to 1 year. Sometimes we've gone even to 24 months, which is like 2 years. And also affordable rates. Like I said, our mandate is to mobilize affordable financing locally and internationally. Affordable financing that we can be able to support businesses that have got a longer focus. And lastly, the general financing requirements, of course, these may vary depending on the project that you're undertaking. It's not necessarily one size fits all. But at the minimum, at least we expect that we should have a discussion. It's important we need to have a discussion for you to know your eligibility. In terms of the sectors that you are financing, the issues of impact, we need to be able to understand those things. And also a business plan. It's important that you document what is it that you want to do, your strategies about your business, where you want to be in the next, I don't know how many years, the kind of a product, the competition, the projected performance. Make sure that is well documented so that one can be able to understand what you want to achieve. Of course, KYC documentation, the registration, the ID to know that indeed we can identify you. And would expect that at least you contribute something to it. I think Mr. Chunga mentioned about having some skin in the game. Not so. If I put 10 million in the business, and then you come, you put 500,000, who is the owner of the business? The one who has put 10 million, not so. Do you know the implication of that? The implication is the one that has put more money will be more committed than the one that has put what? Less money. So having some skin in the game means if the business doesn't work, all of us will be going home crying. Not going home on a growth accelerator cries and you're happy. But you should also be crying when going home. So basically what we want is just you to have some skin in the game. And also the application, of course, the other documentation are going to be able to guide you. I think that's my last slide. Otherwise, thank you very much. Sorry I've taken too much of your time, but if you have good questions, I will leave my number and you can always call me directly. Thank you very much.
They will definitely ask you. But Peter, statistics don't lie. How many have you assisted so far?
Okay, in terms of the numbers, on mega farms we have assisted more than 200 families. So if you talk about 200 families, on average in Malawi, a family is about what? 7 members? Not so. So 207 members got off-take contracts with institutions like Ekaya for fattened cattle. So we do that. They add the value to the product, which is what we want. And then they're buying the cattle from the local communities. That is supporting the rural communities. They are fattening it, adding value. And then they've got an off-take contract from institutions like Ekaya. It is a good example, Ekaya. Ekaya is a local institution. What does Ekaya do? They don't basically, they're not exporting it. They're also selling it within Malawi. At the end of the day, you find that it is one way of supporting the import substitution drive. So yes, we are doing that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Peter. Tamblani?
Thank you very much for the questions. First of all, on matching contribution, 30%. But first of all, let me recognize Post. Is a colleague from Renewed Capital. So we say at least 30% contribution. So if you have got a higher contribution, actually much the better. It means you have got much higher skin in the game. So 30% contribution is basically a threshold in terms of the minimum you can contribute. So if you get some investors who are willing to put more, actually we have seen some projects which have put in more. You will realize even after investing that you might end up putting more than 30% because your investments need starts growing. Why we have got people like Mike and as well as the banks is once we accelerate growth, we know your investments need will be increasing. So you can start talking to these people even early stage and you can start growing. So it's definitely 30% is just a threshold. Disbursements, 30 procedures. So we have got basically 3 milestones under the growth accelerator. So the first milestone requires you to put in at least the 30%. Then UNDP will put in the 20% of the approved grant amount. So we are basically starting like a seed capital at the beginning, where you put in 30% and we bring in a 20% from UNDP. Afterwards, it means we will get the 50% of the grant amount disbursed once you have proven on the first tranche that you can spend appropriately. Then the last tranche is the 30% of the grant amount because it's linked to you delivering on the project, on the impact. Because that's how we manage the whole grant in 3 tranches. So the funds will be disbursed in 3 tranches. The first tranche basically is mobilization. The middle tranche is basically heavy investment, which is coming as a grant. The last tranche, you have to earn it by showing that you have delivered the impact. So that grant will only be disbursed upon delivery of the impact. So you see that we will still retain 30% for delivery of the overall project. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much, Tamblan. The final tranche, you have to earn it. Did you hear that? I emphasized at the very beginning, it is not free money. This one I'll keep emphasizing. And the 30%, by the way, don't wait until you get that grant. You must start working towards that now. It is actually one of the many qualifications that will qualify you to get this particular grant. I did mention at the very beginning that this whole project is managed by the UNDP. And to hear the why, I will invite the UNDP resident representative, Ms. Fenella Frost. Fenella.
Thank you so much, Wisdom, for your able chairing of this meeting. The German Ambassador, Her Excellency Ute Koenig, the KfW Country Director, Miss Daniela Bessi, the Head of Enterprise Development from Mike, who I see there, esteemed partners, young entrepreneurs here in Lilongwe, in Mzuzu and in Blantyre, a warm hello from UNDP, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, Mulibwanji. It is my great pleasure to welcome you on this momentous occasion as we launch Cohort 9 of the Growth Accelerator. This speaks to the very heart of progress to empower youth-led enterprises in accelerating cross-sectoral innovations through technology and digital solutions. Maybe before I start on my formal speech, I wanted to also really acknowledge the wonderful space we're in today, which is this fantastic space of NextGen, and to really thank Eugene, who we heard from earlier, for welcoming us so warmly today. I'm really thrilled to be here. Also to say I myself have actually been a user of the NextGen facility. My son, who is 8, has been here on a number of occasions, and so I can say I am a real user of this business. But I'd never had the chance to be here in person, so it's really great to see the dynamic team here in NextGen. So thanks to all the NextGen team for welcoming us. NextGen is an initiative that's focused on fostering innovation and enterprise here in Malawi, and I think we heard that very clearly from this wonderful testimony from Eugene about how NextGen is not just working as a business, but also mentoring others. And as I think you heard through this example, it aims to create a supportive ecosystem for startups, small businesses through mentorship, training, and access to resources. And of course, UNDP is very proud to partner with NextGen through the Zenchito project, but also in this great hosting of the GA today. So thank you to NextGen. Today, we not only celebrate the remarkable potential of youth enterprises, but we also reinforce our commitment to supporting young innovators who are redefining what is possible in agriculture, energy, healthcare, education, and tourism, and beyond. At UNDP, we believe profoundly that the future of sustainable development lies in the creative potential of young innovators such as yourselves here today. Your passion, energy, ingenuity are critical to addressing the complex challenges that face the world today, but also that face, of course, this wonderful country of Malawi. So thank you for coming here. I know we have many young entrepreneurs here, but we have a lot online. I was able to see the photos of even more people following us online in Mzuzu and Blantyre. So a big warm hello to all of you, whether you're here in the room, here in Lilongwe, or online following from a distance. I don't know about you, but I was so inspired to hear the fantastic story from Rachel. Not only is Rachel a young entrepreneur, but she is also a business owner and also an employer. And also she's a young woman in tech. I think often when we think of tech and digital, we think of men, we think of whether it's Elon Musk or it's Mark Zuckerberg, and it's really wonderful to hear that Rachel is not only a female business leader, she's a digital business leader, and she's employing other young women. So I think this really shows to all of you young women in the room and you young men in the room and online, tech and digital transformation is not just the area for men. Yes, men have a huge role to play, but remember when you're employing as well as young entrepreneurs, you can also look out to employ wonderful and dynamic young women out there across the country. We are living, ladies and gentlemen, in an era of unparalleled change where the rapid advancement of technology is transforming industries. And when we talk in UNDP about leaving no one behind, we often tend to think of poverty. Yes, that's very important. We often tend to think of employment. But I think we should also think very much about digital transformation. We talk about digital transformation as being the fourth industrial revolution. And I think, as you can see from the wonderful example of the drone images that we had before, for Malawi to really benefit and really move forward on its economic transformation journey, you're never going to do that without using the power of technology and the power of digital transformation, whatever sector you're working in. So that's why I'm particularly proud, and I'd like to say a huge thank you, of course, to the team from Germany here today, Her Excellency the Ambassador, but also the wonderful head of KfW for their belief alongside UNDP in the importance of this transformation across all the sectors that you're working in. Young entrepreneurs like many of you in this room and who are watching online are the architects of these new business models, creators of cutting-edge technologies and champions of how those technologies can help support sustainable and inclusive growth. Without you and your communities and your country will never transform and reach the great ambitions outlined in the Malawi Vision 2063. What makes this journey truly exciting is that technology is no longer bound to a single sector. The barrier between industries are breaking down and cross-sectoral innovations are shaping the opportunities for growth. Whether it's using artificial intelligence to optimize agricultural practices or mobile health solutions to bring services to remote areas, technology is enabling breakthroughs of innovation that transcend traditional boundaries, and that also makes those solutions often much cheaper and more cost-effective for all those that are using them. And I think, as Tambulani very ably outlined in his earlier presentation, one of the objectives of this work is not just to develop new businesses, but also to bring cheaper services and better quality services across the country. At UNDP, we recognize the power of accelerating growth of business ventures, and we believe that investing in youth-led enterprises is one of the most important and powerful ways to accelerate progress in any economy. And this is why, since 2018, UNDP has worked with more than 80 ventures across 8 cohorts under the fantastic Growth Accelerator, and we believe that there's still a lot of untapped potential and opportunities here in Malawi, and this is why we are so pleased to launch this joint call together with our great partners, Germany. In Malawi's changing business environment, characterized by stagnating growth and increasing macroeconomic imbalances, initiatives like the GA are more relevant than ever. Businesses are grappling with unavailability of foreign exchange, with the high levels of domestic public debt, that only strain further the opportunities. Fuel scarcity, rising prices, foreign exchange shortages, exchange rate volatility, and other difficulties in accessing and affording finance remain critical barriers in private sector growth. And these were highlighted in the recent Malawi Business Climate Survey conducted by the Malawi Chamber of Commerce and Industry. These are challenging conditions, ladies and gentlemen, and we need to support the growth of private sector. That can't be overstated. So the GA program is not just about funding, it's also about empowering you, the young business owners, with resources, mentorship, and networks to help you scale your ideas and bring innovation to life. But also, I'm very proud of our partnership with Germany and the other donors to the GA, because I think we're also committed not just into funding you, but also working together to see how we can together use our voice to engage with government and other key stakeholders supporting the enabling environment, so that any messages of challenges you have, we can use our voice working in partnership with Mike and the government to see how we can also support you in supporting the broader enabling environment. We are aware that entrepreneurship, especially for youth, is not without its challenges, and so we're here to support you to help surmount these obstacles. And I think one of the reasons I'm so inspired also by this mentorship vision is it's not just about us telling you how to do this. I don't know how to run a small business in Malawi. The people who can best help you are other small business owners, and that's why I think this passion of the example of the wonderful marriage between NextGen, I was going to say between Eugene and our dear colleague who just presented, but your husband and his wife might get the wrong idea. The business marriage is a really great example of that. And I think, you know, at the end of the day, we talk a lot about the poverty trap, and sometimes it's always about how things are going down. I think it's also about how do you as young Malawians pull each other up. And every single Malawian who is setting up a small business, who has good ideas, can also help to hold hands with a fellow Malawian to also pull them up to say, this is my experience, this is what my experience has been as a business owner or a young early stage entrepreneur. This is what I learnt. Let me share some of that learning, because as we know, ideas and knowledge is also very powerful. So maybe before I conclude, I'd just like to also say a few words about our long-standing partnership with KfW and, of course, through them with the German government. Our partnership started long before I arrived in Malawi in 2016 on the Malawian Innovation Challenge Fund, and we have deepened that partnership over the year. And KfW, I'm very proud to say, is one of our most important partners in our work on private sector. And of course, one of the main partners in the Growth Accelerator, and most recently the Green Economic Transition Facility, that aims to support green business solutions for green economic transition. Through the vast combined network of UNDP and KfW, entrepreneurs supported have given visibility and further exposure to external markets. Moreover, UNDP has facilitated the follow-on capital, and we are building up our financial instruments to encompass venture capital and angel capital investment. So really, if we're doing anything on the private sector in Malawi today, it's thanks to that early stage idea creation between KfW, the German government, and UNDP, and of course the wonderful Malawian institutions like Mike that we heard from so passionately earlier today. So a profound thank you to the German ambassador and the head of KfW and your team for being with us today and standing side by side with us and Malawian entrepreneurs. So I'm going to stop talking because I've spoken far too much, but I'd just like to say a profound thanks to all of you for having made the effort to come today, those of you in the long way and those of you following us online in Mzuzu and Blantyre. This is really an inclusive call, so everyone across the country, we tried to have the call with everyone, but I think that this launch will also be disseminated online. If you have any questions, I think we will post again the ways that you can reach out to answer any questions. We want you to have the best possible proposals so that we can invest in you. So please, if you have any questions, use this session today, and for those of you following online, I know that there's facilitators both from Mike and the GA teams there in Mzuzu and Blantyre. So we really look forward to very active engagement, and I look forward to coming to visit your exciting businesses once you're part of the program. So thank you so much.
And Fenella, the UNDP does go around knocking doors like the Germans and others, just to bring together that financing to accelerate youth-led businesses. What's the driving force?
Behind UNDP. So our driving force, of course, is the SDGs. So you'll have heard a lot about the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. We believe profoundly that the Sustainable Development Goals, that is to say reducing poverty, addressing environment, helping growth, can only be achieved if there are a strong economic driver in the economy. Because at the end of the day, if you are struggling to find enough food to eat, you can't hope to achieve any of those broader goals. And we also really profoundly believe that development is never going to be the job only of government. If we just sit back and wait for government in any country to deliver our aspirations, we will be waiting for a long time. We know that the government is trying to do its best, but it also has a huge amount of pressure, whether it's from education, whether it's from the health sector. So we believe profoundly, and I think JFK said many, many years ago, ask not what you can do, what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. And I believe very profoundly, and UNDP here in Malawi believes very profoundly, that it's not about sitting back and waiting for someone to come to help you. It's about saying, how can my brain, my energy, my enthusiasm contribute to my local economy, to my family, and to my society? And we believe very strongly that Malawians, we know, we've seen every day since I've been here for a year, every day how dynamic, how resilient Malawians are. And we believe that often it's about a lack of opportunity. And we hope that in this small way, our work in the private sector can help bring some of that opportunity, because one of the key challenges is access to finance. Finance, proportionately for young entrepreneurs in Africa, is much more expensive to access. And it's not just about the money, it's also about the technical support. And that's why we're so proud to work with Landell Mills, Tambulani, but also with Mike and other financing institutions here in Malawi, because at the end of the day, it's the money combined with the hard work and the fantastic ideas you have,
Great.
Combined with the technical support.
Long live UNDP. Another round of applause for Fenella Frost. Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what it is that you can contribute to the growth of your country. I guess that's exactly why we are here. We should begin asking ourselves, when we get this money, when we get this technical assistance, what is it that we can do to contribute to the growth of the country, Malawi, the country we call home? UNDP is there to support young innovators. What it means is that you must be innovative. If you're not, GA is not your home. Thank you so much, Fenella, for that. And she did emphasize quite a lot that thank you so much, the German government and, of course, other partners that we've been working with. And we do have here today Her Excellency Ut Konik is the ambassador for Germany in Malawi, the very financiers of KFW that are working in this particular regard with the GA. They've supported 6 of the 9. Why? Ambassador Ut.
Thank you so much, Wisdom. Being the last speaker always means that there might be some repetitions, but in Germany we say nothing is said until the last speaker has spoken. So, Fenella Frost, the UN Resident Representative, KFW Country Director, Mrs. Daniela Beze, Tambulani Chunga, GA Program Manager, Rachel Komenda, Drone Link Presenter, Peter Chipeta, Mike, Head of Enterprise Development, and of course Eugene Masseya, Next Gen Labs and Managing Director as our host here. Distinguished guests, esteemed partners, young entrepreneurs present here and online in Mzuzu and Blantyre, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. As German ambassador, I'm very pleased to attend today's launch of a call for applications for another Growth Accelerator round. With this public call, we want to attract applications by private sector companies across the country that are eligible to apply for grants and technical support to overcome the challenges in developing a successful business in Malawi. This program targets young entrepreneurs, often in the informal sector and in the startup phase, and especially women. Support is provided through a financing mechanism, the Growth Accelerator Financing Facility, operated and implemented by UNDP. Selected companies get a matching grant of up to 40,000 US dollars with the requirement of financing up to 30% of the total project costs themselves. And we know that Mike might be a partner in helping them get this 30%. The support addresses constraints which micro and small enterprises, including young startups, face, such as a lack of access to affordable credit, to information, to networking, and to mentoring. We help them to develop technical and entrepreneurial practices, to tackle licensing issues, to achieve quality standards and production certification. The program furthermore supports product differentiation, thereby enhancing value addition and avoiding enterprise failure. So far, German Development Cooperation has already financed 4 rounds of Growth Accelerator. So I'm sorry to correct your wisdom. This will be our round 5 only, not 6. But we are ready to continue. So we'll do this the next time. So this is our 5th round under the German Development Cooperation through the Financial Cooperation Program, More Income and Employment in Rural Areas through Infrastructure and Financing, called MIRA. Other GA rounds have been financed by our colleagues from Norway. The overarching focus of contribution is, of course, poverty reduction through creation of job opportunities and increasing incomes, especially for poorer sections of the population in rural areas of Malawi. We are excited to continue this successful program this time around with a special emphasis of innovative technology and digital solutions as a means to address development issues of Malawi. So far, the successful rounds in 55 companies have received or are currently receiving financing support through KfW and UNDP. The program companies are in different fields. The majority are agro-based and involved in production and processing of food. Others are in media service and manufacturing. In addition, 171 low-income unskilled people have obtained permanent employment, and we expect the number to increase over the years. With this program, we are in line with the Malawi policies and strategies in place, such as the Malawi Vision 2063, the Malawi Growth and Development Strategy 3, the National Export Strategy, which emphasize on private sector development as a means to poverty reduction. German Development Cooperation has been engaged in the development of the private sector in Malawi through KfW since 2016, as Fenella already pointed out. Since then, German Development Cooperation has committed 31 million euro to the Malawian government for the MIRA program. The different financing mechanisms that have been supported are being operated and implemented by UNDP since 2018. So all stakeholders, UNDP, the fund manager, Landell Mills, government, financial institutions like Mike, private sector companies, you all play a crucial role in addressing the challenges that may come along the way in order for a Growth Accelerator Cohort 9 to be successful. We can build on valuable experience from the past rounds and what has worked well and what has turned out to be less favorable to improve our approaches. I was very impressed especially by Rachel's presentation, and I think the figures she used will stick in mind. How she could triple her business, how she could employ 6 other people. And of course, I hope that all the new members of Cohort 9 will have similar experience, especially as we heard that they will only receive the last tranche of 30% if they can show how successful they are. But the fact that we are not just handing out money, as was stressed several times, we're not just signing a check, but we are accompanying you. So there's training and there's mentoring, so it's really a joint program, and we are partnering in this with you to help you be successful in the interest of developing Malawi. I can only encourage all of you not to be frightened by the formalities, by what has been laid out. I think there are partners on the way that presented today, and I hope that next year in February we can have wonderful pitches when this next cohort is chosen. I would like to express my sincere thanks in concluding to UNDP and to all the implementing institutions and investment partners for their appreciated contributions and cooperation on the GA so far. Together, we will continue to strive for a better perspective for young and ambitioned young entrepreneurs in Malawi. Thank you so much. Sikomo Kwambiri.
So Ambassador Uti, you've supported 4 and you're now getting into the 5th cohort. What is it that excited and continues to excite the German taxpayer to partner UNDP in such an initiative?
Well, UNDP is of course one of our closest and trusted partners, and KfW knows much more on that than I do. But as German government, we know that in the world we need partners. And we, as Germany, we are also a big export nation. So we are also interested in developing other countries for future markets and to have trade exchange. We know that in today's world where there's growing insecurities, nobody can walk the line alone. Our Chancellor is very famous for using a football slogan from an English football club saying, "You never walk alone." So this is also behind for the intentions of German development cooperation that receive the support of German taxpayers.
Thank you so much. Another round of applause for Ambassador Uti. I know it must have excited Liverpool fans. You never walk alone. And we're hoping that February next year we should be standing here celebrating you. Are you ready for the challenge? Are you ready? Are you sure? Thank you so much. It's something that's possible to do, and definitely you look quite energized to deliver on this particular challenge. Thank you so much, Ambassador Uti, Fenella from UNDP, Daniela, and of course, colleague from Mike, the Lando Mills team. We will be around as we partake in the refreshments and whatever, and you can ask whatever questions. We want to necessarily have one interactive session, but these people are around. The business acceleration officers from Lando Mills are around. You can ask whatever questions you need, because when you push in that application and it falls short of that which is required, you have failed, and there are no repeat exams. Thank you so much for being a wonderful audience. See you in the application process. Bye-bye.
We will have breakfast. Now we started off early. Some of us we left home early, so there's breakfast which has been prepared, and you are welcome to have interaction with any one of us. As I said, we are available. Those online, you can also post some questions online. we should be able to send some responses, because there's a team in Blantyre and Mzuzu as well, a part of our project management team. They are based there, so we should be able to be helped. A similar event like this one is happening in Blantyre and Mzuzu as well. So most welcome for breakfast, and we can continue the interaction. Thank you. But I thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thank you for coming. And Fenella, thanks a lot. Daniela, thanks a lot for all the support, and the whole UNDP team, and more especially you for gracing the occasion, our participants, both online and as well as who are present here today. Thank you.